Hey guys, World War Gaming back here with Turn 2 of Axis and Allies 1941. So it's going to be the same as last video, except, different map of course, because things have changed. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right on into it, and we are going to start with Russia. So we are now back after the Russians' turn, and they did not do very well at all. First of all, they took a submarine from Sea Zone 6 here, and they moved it down into Sea Zone, 11? 8, sorry. And they attempted to take out that battleship, but altogether failed. Then over here, in the Eastern Front, they tried reinforcing West Russia, and they moved troops from the Caucasus and some from even West Russia into Ukraine, and got no hits, and in the first round of combat, the Germans took out all the Russians, except for that one plane there. So now we are going to move on to the Germans' turn, and they are hoping to make some sort of big impact on the Eastern Front, and if they can't do that, things are not looking too good for them. So I will see you then. We are now back after the Germans' turns, and they had much progress. So over here in the Eastern Front, to start off with, the Germans were able to take back West Russia with only one remaining infantry unit. But then they were also able to take the Caucasus, which has put Russia in a real bad spot because their capital is now covered on 3 sides. And I do not think they will last much longer, but they very well could hold out. Now over here, up in the North Sea, we had a little skirmish between one British destroyer and a German battleship and a German destroyer, and ended up in an Axis victory. So over here, it looks like the Axis have pretty much all naval power. There is a little bit of a fighting force over here in America, but there's also this down here that they'll have to go up against. Now we are moving on to the British turn. So hopefully they are able to use that tank up there in Norway and Finland to their advantage. Hopefully do some sort of D-Day landing. So I will see you in a few. So now back here after the British turn, first of all, with their IPCs, they decided to put a whole bunch of infantry into the UK, hoping to possibly fortify it for an incoming German invasion. Now over here in the Pacific, things kinda went a little bit crazy. So first of all, an Indian unit came over from India and into Southeast Asia and went ahead and just took that with no force. Then up here in Szechuan, the British brought in an Indian fighter, and they were able to take out the Japanese infantry, but in turn it cost them their fighter. They couldn't really do anything down here with any navy because that was taken out in the first turn. Up here in the northern eastern Europe, there was a little bit of a skirmish between a British tank and a German infantry, which, like down here in Szechuan, caused both of them to be eliminated. So that territory still belongs to Germany. Now over here, there was a slight bit of a D-Day landing. One infantry came down into Western Europe along with a bomber. They were able to take out 2 infantry, but that was it. Down here in Africa, there's still this infantry just slowly moving up. He might take North Africa next turn, but that's not really worth any points, but it could provide some sort of advantage for the Americans to land. So now that we are done with the British, it is on to the Japanese. Okay, now back here with the Japanese turn. So a whole lot of things happened. First of all, a tank that was up in Manchuria decided to blitz down through northwestern China into Sichuan to prepare for the perhaps coming Indian invasion. And for once, the British did something useful in the Pacific, and they were able to defend off a Japanese fighter. Now over here in the more northern Pacific, the big battle that looked like was coming very, very close ended in a Japanese victory. The Japanese brought in some planes from coastal China and Japan, a bomber from Japan, to take out the oncoming American fleet. They also took up a aircraft carrier with 2 planes and a battleship from the Hawaiian Islands. Then up here in the very north Pacific, the Japanese brought up a convoy with 2 infantry on it into the Aleutian Islands and took Alaska. So it looks like there could be a very soon coming invasion of America. So now with that, it is on to the Americans' turn. We are now back after America's turn, and not a whole lot happened, but some stuff that will definitely help them in the long run, hopefully in the long run, has happened. So over here in the Pacific, the very northern Pacific, America saw the Japanese trying to invade Alaska, so they went up with a fighter plane and a tank unit to get rid of those 2 Japanese infantry units, and they were able to take back Alaska. Now down here, they decided to buy a destroyer and a submarine, possibly hoping to at least damage this armada here. Now over here, in the Atlantic region, the Americans got a little tired of waiting for the British to take North Africa, and so they did it themselves. Hopefully, probably taking either Italy or France. They didn't really do anything over here. They just left an infantry unit just in case something happens. And they couldn't really do anything in Sichuan and China and all that because it was taken by the Japanese. So that now concludes turn 2 of Axis and Allies in 1941. Let's take a look at the IPC chart. So we can see that America is not an amazing lead, but are still in the lead, with second place being Britain, third place being Germany. Down 3 spaces is Japan with 10 points, and 5 spaces down is Russia with 5 points. Not looking very good. So I will see you guys all next time. I will hopefully have another video up shortly, and yeah, thank you for watching, and if you like this video or any of my others, please like, comment, and if you so choose, subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.